The India office needn't have worried. Kitchener was playing a cynical game, never intending to hand real power to the Arabs of the Hijaz. But the British showered the Emir of Mecca, Sharif Hussein, with gold and dropped hints that if all went well, he might realize his dream of becoming leader of the Arabs. On the 5th of June 1916, the Arab revolt began. Mecca quickly fell to the rebels, but the main Turkish garrison at Medina held its ground. The Turkish commander, Fahri Pasha, refused to surrender.
Until my soldiers are buried under the rubble of Medina, in a crimson shroud of blood and fire, the red flag of the Ottomans shall never be removed from the castle turrets of Medina.
The uprising commanded no popular support. But the British did have a man on the spot. T.E. Lawrence, a charismatic 28-year-old officer attached to Sharif Hussein's forces in the Hijaz. Lawrence spoke Arabic. He saw where the Arabs' strengths lay.
I think one company of Turks properly entrenched in open country would defeat the Sharif's armies. Their real sphere is guerrilla warfare. They would dynamite a railway, plunder a caravan, steal camels, better than anyone.
The Turks were most vulnerable along their stretched lines of communication. Lawrence and the Arabs became experts in railway sabotage.
The last stunt was the hold-up of a train. The whole job took 10 minutes and they lost 70 killed. My loot was a superfine red Baluch prayer rug. I hope this sounds the fun it is. It's the most amateurish Buffalo Billy sort of performance.
A German on the train saw the attack differently.
The Bedouin mob came bursting into the carriage to kill and plunder. I could feel the blood pouring down my body, but I was left alone. The thieves' minds were drawn towards looting, having killed 40 men, women and children and taken the rest captive.
T.E. Lawrence adopted the cause of Arab nationalism.
I hope that the Turkish flag may disappear from Arabia. It is so good to have helped in making a new nation, and I hate the Turks so much that to see their own people turning on them is very gratifying.
Lawrence now dressed as an Arab. He asked his mother for help with his costume.
If that silk headcloth with the silver ducks on it, last used I believe as a tablecloth, still exists, will you send it out to me? Such things are hard to get here now.
Capturing Turkish-held Jerusalem was a key British objective in 1917. Seizing the port of Aqaba would strengthen the Arabs' case for a role in the campaign. Lawrence realized that all Aqaba's guns pointed out to sea. The town was defenseless from the rear. That meant a 600-mile ride across the Hijaz at the height of summer.
Mudflats are purgatory. Sun reflects from them like mirror, flame yellow, cutting into our eyes.
Seven weeks later, the Arab force reappeared outside Aqaba, catching the Turks totally off guard. The town fell just 4 days later. The Middle East was stunned. General Allenby, commanding British forces in the region, now wrote the Arab revolt into his Jerusalem campaign, reinforcing it with armoured cars, air support, artillery and colonial troops. On the 11th of December 1917, Allenby entered Jerusalem on foot with his officers, including Lawrence. The Arabs would find they had won not self-rule, but new masters. Lawrence had known all along that the Arabs of the Hijaz were merely the tools of British subversion, as he admitted long after.
The Arabs saw in me a free agent of the British government and demanded from me an endorsement of its written promises. So I had to join the conspiracy and assured the men of their reward. I was continually and bitterly ashamed. Had I been an honest advisor of the Arabs, I would have advised them to go home and not risk their lives fighting for such stuff.
While Britain was sponsoring subversion against Germany's ally Turkey, she had her own weak spot right on her doorstep: Ireland. Britain had promised Ireland home rule, but the First World War shelved all that. 200,000 Irishmen, Catholics and Protestants, would fight for Britain. About 30,000 of them would die. But the Irish Republican Brotherhood, forerunners of the IRA, believed England's difficulty was Ireland's opportunity. Padraig Pearse saw the war as a chance for Ireland to free herself from British rule.
The European war has brought about a crisis which may contain, as yet hidden within it, the moment for which generations have been waiting. It remains to be seen whether, if that moment reveals itself, we shall have the sight to see and the courage to do.
Germany, for many Republicans, had always been a good place to plot revolution. Erskine Childers was famous in Britain, the country he now sought to undermine. His best-selling novel, The Riddle of the Sands, had warned Britain of the dangers she faced from the German Navy. By July 1914, his sympathies had switched. He put to sea in his yacht, the Asgard, to run guns. He photographed the operation, leaving Hamburg under tow, sailing back to Ireland. His wife and a friend with 2 of the 900 rifles they had collected from Germany. And the scene after Childers docked outside Dublin. Crowds cheer as the guns are driven away by car. Two years later, the German guns were put to use when 1,600 Irish revolutionaries rose up in Dublin.
Easter Monday, 1916. Sinn Féiners occupy railway stations, the GPO, and other places. They have blocked the streets nearing Stephen's Green, and are shooting at anyone they see in khaki. We used to think we were clear of the war here in Ireland, but we've certainly got it close enough now.
The moment for which Padraig Pearse had been waiting had come. He read out the historic proclamation of the Irish Republic, a document which acknowledges the support of gallant allies in Europe. Who were these gallant allies, and what had they done? Germany had long seen subversion in Ireland as a way of destabilizing Britain. In August 1914, Sir Roger Casement, an Irish Republican and one-time darling of the British establishment, gave the Germans the opportunity they were looking for. He wrote to the Kaiser with an offer.
We draw your Majesty's attention to the part that Ireland necessarily, if not openly, must play in this conflict. Ireland must be freed from British control. Thousands of Irishmen are prepared to do their part to aid the German cause, for they recognize that it is their own.
Casement sailed for Berlin in disguise, and in the winter of 1914, he met Arthur Zimmermann, a future foreign minister, and the man in charge of Germany's subversive operations. Zimmermann was impressed by Casement and began to wonder if a small German landing on Irish soil might cause the British massive problems. His diplomats in America raised funds from the Irish community in New York.
It is proposed to undertake an invasion with 25,000 troops with 50,000 extra guns. Then undoubtedly the cooperation of all Irish in the British Army will follow. There is strong friction between Irish and English in northern France.
Zimmermann's uprising was to be four-pronged. The dispatch of German weapons to Irish rebels, the landing of a German expeditionary force on the west coast, German submarines to seize Dublin harbour, and diversionary Zeppelin bombing raids on London.